He cheated on me. So, I ruined his wedding day. A revenge story, filled with heartbreak, revelation, and poetic justice. The beginning of us. I met Daniel during my second year of college, a time when I still believed in fairy tales, in forever, in the idea that love could fix anyone. He was charming, funny, and had that kind of quiet confidence that pulled people toward him. He wasn't loud or boastful, but when he spoke, people listened. His smile could soften any heart, including mine. We met in a literature class. I was the type who sat near the window, taking neat notes in silence. Daniel sat 3 rows behind, always joking with friends. One day, after class, he approached me. "Hey, you take amazing notes. Can I borrow them?" I kinda zoned out during that Shakespeare part. I said yes, not realizing that single word would start something that would change my entire life. Coffee turned into late-night study sessions. Study sessions turned into long walks around campus, hands brushing, hearts racing. We talked about dreams, fears, the future. He said he wanted to travel the world, start a company, write a book one day. He made me laugh in ways I hadn't laughed before. He made me believe I was special. 3 months later, he asked me to be his girlfriend under the stars on the old college bridge. He brought flowers, daisies, my favorite. And I said yes. Of course I said yes. For 3 years. We were inseparable. I was there when his mother got sick, when he failed a semester and thought he'd never recover. I stayed through every storm. I loved him deeply, honestly, foolishly. He'd whisper, "You're the one, Amy. My forever." And I believed him with everything I had. If only I had known that forever, to him, meant until someone new walks in. The lie unravels. It started small. That's the thing about betrayal. It creeps in quietly. When Daniel landed his first real job at a small marketing firm, I was thrilled for him. We celebrated with cheap champagne and pizza in our tiny apartment. I remember the way his eyes sparkled with pride when he said, "This is just the beginning, Amy. I'm going to make something of myself." But soon, the beginning became an excuse. He started coming home late, missed dinners, stopped calling during lunch breaks. "I'm tired," he'd say. "Work's been insane." At first, I believed him. I wanted to. I cooked him dinner, sent him encouraging messages, told him how proud I was. But slowly, something in his voice changed. The warmth faded, replaced by distance. Then came her, Melissa. The first time I saw her, she was wearing a red dress that looked expensive and a smile that said she always got what she wanted. She worked in Daniel's office. When I dropped off lunch for him one afternoon, she greeted me at the door with that too sweet smile. "Oh, you must be Amy. Daniel talks about you sometimes." Sometimes. That word stayed with me. When I asked Daniel later, he brushed it off. "Melissa? She's just a coworker, babe. You're overthinking again." But then came the late-night texts, the mysterious phone calls he took on the balcony, the cologne he never wore before. The smell of lies has a scent, sharp, unfamiliar, intoxicating. One night, while he showered, his phone buzzed. Normally, I respected his privacy. But that night, something inside me, maybe instinct, maybe pain, told me to look. The message read, "Can't wait to see you again tonight, face blowing kiss." From Melissa. My chest tightened. My breath caught. My hands trembled as I scrolled up, through messages, hotel bookings, selfies of them together. One even said, "You're so much better than her." Her. Me. When he came out of the shower, towel around his waist, I was sitting on the edge of the bed holding his phone. He froze. "You went through my phone?" I could barely speak. "You're sleeping with her." He didn't deny it. He just sighed. "Amy, it's not what you think." I laughed, a sound that didn't even feel like mine. It always is. The breakup. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I didn't beg. I just stood up, packed my bag, and walked out. He didn't chase me. Not once. I remember sitting in my car, rain pouring down the windshield, my fingers gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My chest hurt, that deep, Raw ache that comes when you realize the person you loved never really existed. A week later, I saw them together on social media, smiling, holding hands at our favorite restaurant. A month later, in a relationship. A year later, engaged. The man who once promised me forever was now planning his forever with someone else. But here's the thing about pain, it either destroys you or it builds you into something stronger. And me? I was about to become unbreakable. The plan. Healing took time. Months passed. I rebuilt myself. New job, new friends, new purpose. I told myself I was over him. And for a while, I believed it. Until one day, I opened social media and saw their wedding announcement, with our song playing in the background. That song. The one we danced to under fairy lights on our anniversary. My hands clenched so tight around my phone that my nails dug into my palm. The caption read, "Can't wait to marry my soulmate." I laughed. Bitterly. Then I saw the venue, a luxury hotel. Hundreds of guests. Flowers worth thousands. The kind of wedding Daniel always said he couldn't afford. I clicked on the public guest list just out of curiosity. And there it was. My name, Amy Collins. Still invited. Probably a mistake. But to me, it was fate. I smiled for the first time in weeks. If fate wanted me there, I would go. Not as the ex. Not as the victim. But as justice. Gathering the ammo. Revenge doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, precision, and proof. Daniel had always been careless. He used the same password for years. Out of curiosity, I tried logging into his old cloud storage, and to my surprise, it worked. Inside was a graveyard of his secrets. Photos, messages, receipts, hotel reservations, even flirty voice notes to women who weren't Melissa. Yes, women plural. Melissa wasn't the only one. There were others. I collected everything: screenshots, timestamps, receipts, names. I printed them one by one and placed them neatly into a folder labeled "Truth Hurts." The digital copy went onto a USB drive, insurance. My plan wasn't to humiliate him. My plan was to expose him. At the right place. At the right time. The wedding day. The morning of the wedding was bright and beautiful, disgustingly so. I arrived at the venue dressed in black. Not mourning him, but celebrating the death of my silence. The hotel ballroom was a fairy tale, chandeliers, roses, white silk everywhere. A string quartet played softly. The air smelled like champagne and lies. When Daniel saw me, he froze mid-conversation. "Amy, you came?" I smiled politely. "Of course. I wanted to wish you both the best." His eyes darted nervously, but he forced a grin. "Glad you could make it." I mingled quietly, greeting guests who didn't recognize me. The laughter, the music, the clinking of glasses, all of it felt like background noise to the storm I carried in my purse. When the ceremony began, I took a seat near the back. Melissa walked down the aisle, radiant, her smile wide and innocent. For a brief moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The ruin. When the officiant said, "If anyone objects, speak now or forever hold your peace," I stood. A wave of whispers rolled through the room. Cameras turned. Daniel's face went pale. I stepped forward slowly, heels clicking against the marble floor. "I'm sorry," I said, voice calm, almost gentle. "But I can't let you marry a liar." Then, I handed Melissa a sealed envelope. "Before you say I do, you should read this." Her hands shook as she tore it open. The sound of paper ripping echoed through the silent hall. Her eyes scanned the pages, then widened. She gasped. Her lips trembled. The murmurs began, guests whispering, some standing to see. Daniel lunged forward. "Amy, stop this. You're crazy." But Melissa slapped him across the face. "You slept with her? And another one?" The crowd erupted. Gasps. Cries. A woman fainted. Someone was filming. I didn't stay to watch it all burn. I turned, walked down the aisle, and out the door, leaving the chaos behind. Outside, the air felt crisp. Freeing. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Melissa. "Thank you for saving me from him." I smiled. My revenge wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about truth. And the truth had finally set us both free. Aftermath. By nightfall, the video had gone viral. Someone had recorded the entire scene. Bride finds out groom cheated. At the altar. It hit millions of views within hours. Daniel lost his job the next week. His company didn't want the bad press. His family disowned him. The wedding venue even demanded damages for the disruption. Melissa disappeared from social media, but a few months later, I got a message. "You didn't ruin my wedding. You saved my life." As for me, I moved on. I launched my own marketing agency. Business flourished. My life was calm. People often asked if I regretted it. I didn't, because I didn't destroy him. I simply revealed who he already was. Revenge is closure. Months later, I received an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a letter written in neat, looping handwriting. "You didn't ruin my wedding. You saved me from a lifetime of lies. I'll never forget what you did. Thank you, Melissa." I folded the letter carefully, smiled, and placed it in a drawer. Not as a trophy, but as a reminder. That truth, no matter how painful, is freedom. Because revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes it's quiet, precise, liberating. And on that day, I didn't just ruin his wedding. I reclaimed my power.